Tonight's sleep story captures the essence of autumn as you travel to Sugar Hollow to spend the night atop a floating campsite. You are listening to Floating Beneath the Harvest Moon, a cozy bedtime story for grown-ups that brings us to a charming lakeside village in Vermont. But once a year, during the week of the harvest moon, floating campsites drift across the glassy lake. Autumn foliage is at its peak, and you revel in the splendor of camping on your own man-made island, settling by a fire pit as lanterns and illuminated pumpkins drift around you. Get cozy and let the magic of Sugar Hollow bring you to a night of deep, healing sleep. It's time to dream away. Welcome to Michelle's Sanctuary. I am Michelle, a longtime lover of cozy autumn experiences. Trust me to guide you on this dreamy journey where your creative mind enhances fall's enchantment and you self-soothe and surrender to the peaceful embrace of the season. Think of my voice as one of a longtime friend. I am here to support your mission to enjoy a serene night and mental getaway. You've made it through another day and deserve to celebrate this time before drifting into the realm of sleep. Change any detail to suit your mood and feel free to fall asleep at any point. Adjust, shift, and wiggle, finding a place of comfort in this moment. As your body settles, become still, feeling the weight of your eyelids gently closing, shutting out the world as you drift inward. Imagine the cool breeze across Lake Surrender entering your sleeping space, inviting your body to relax as the spirit of the harvest moon creates an ambience infused with gratitude and tranquility. To start with a clean slate, exhale audibly and release the air in your lungs. Release the thoughts in your mind. Take in a deep, expansive breath until you feel full. And when you're ready, you may exhale, letting it out in another long, relaxed sigh. Feel the transformation as the air in your room turns crisp and cool. Like a breeze sweeping over a lake, it creates the perfect temperature for coziness and sleep. The scents of wood smoke, caramelized pumpkin, and mountain air fill your lungs, grounding you in the heart of Sugar Hollow. Imagine the golden glow of the harvest moon reflecting on the lake's surface, its calm waters rippling in time with your breath. Each inhale deepens your connection to this enchanted place, and every exhale invites you to release tension, blending your breath with the rhythm of the wind and water. Take another slow, deep breath, feeling the coolness of the lakeside air brushing against your skin. As you exhale, picture the peachy glow of the harvest moon, lighting the path to complete stillness. Enjoy one more round of conscious breathing at your own pace. This time after you inhale, you may yawn and then feel that yawn transition into a sigh. Embrace the safety and comfort of this time that we craft together. Allow your breath to effortlessly resume its natural rhythm, feeling more relaxed than mere moments ago. And in this state of peace, it's time for the story to begin. Sugar Hollow is a small mystical village in Vermont with a tradition of crafting the most heartwarming and soul-fulfilling traditions. The historic Vermont village neighbors Lake Surrender, nestled among beloved ski mountain ranges that often see their first dusting of snow in early October. Yet in the valley, the temperature remains comfortably crisp and cool this time of year, with cherished moments of resplendent warmth as the gilded fall sun dusts the landscape in shimmering light. The breakthrough warmth is so intense at times that winter's approach feels like nothing more than a silly rumor. Scarlet-covered bridges dapple the postcard-worthy region, and each All Hallows' Eve they serve as venues for moonlit dinner parties where attendees commune with those they have loved most in this life. There's an uplifting and palpable energy here, a reverent connection to nature, and a conscious effort to celebrate the beauty of each moment and each season. Seasons have significant meaning in a place like Sugar Hollow, where each quarter brilliantly showcases noticeable changes in the weather, lighting, and landscape. The changing seasons allow those who live here and visit to explore different parts of their personalities, and autumn is a time for self-reflection and drawing inward. It gives a visible reminder of surrendering and transformation in action. Come September and early October, apple and pear orchards are abundant with fruit. Pumpkin patches overflow with corpulent orange orbs, and vibrant fallen leaves waft on silver streams. Local maple syrup, Vermont cheddar, and goat cheese are sold at outdoor farm stands decorated with corn stalks and rainbow ornamental corn before they are shut down for the winter season. Amidst all the fall adventures, from horseback riding trails beneath a canopy of fiery red maple trees to haunted hayrides and an annual autumn festival, the week of the harvest moon brings the community together. The bite of fall is subtle as the silky lake is near its warmest temperatures of the year, more comfortable for swimming than when the shoreline is bustling in May on Memorial Day weekend. The vista becomes more captivating as well, as the mountains surrounding Surrender Lake are now ablaze with gold, flaming orange, and bright red when the festivities begin. As a bookend to the summer, Surrender Lake welcomes floating campsites beneath the harvest moon. The time varies between late September and early October, depending on the year. Docks are taken out of storage or newly assembled to serve as foundations for magnificent geodesic and bell-style canvas tents, each one designed to feel like a permanent fixture, even while gliding atop the glassy water. Lake Surrender becomes home to a magical glamping village that floats beneath the stars. The geodesic tents resemble igloo-like structures and showcase a kaleidoscope of vibrant colors in octagonal patches that reflect on the lake. The rainbow patterns add a whimsical touch to the serene landscape, like a hot air balloon drifting in the sky or a life-sized Rubik's Cube. Other campers utilize sturdy safari tents. Their heavy ivory and khaki canvas walls, conjuring visions of expeditions in the Sahara and nights spent among endless golden dunes that reflect the moonlight. Some floating docks feature bell-shaped tents in dark blues, greens, and earth tones. The tents are carefully erected toward the back of wide and solid decks that allow ample room in the front for luxurious outdoor setups. Cushions in gold, burgundy, crimson, chocolate brown, and burnt orange decorate loungers and chairs, circling built-in fire pits where guests gather beneath the glow of the harvest moon. Firelight flickers across the water as the sound of crackling wood blends with the soft lapping of the lake against the docks. Plush spring mattresses are laid atop the boards inside the tents, inviting travelers to sink into comfort as they drift off under the stars. Everything is thought of in a careful, eco-friendly way, from pet relief areas to enchanting decor. This beloved tradition often coincides with the end of boating season and is more feasible to pull off in the vast, vacant lake this time of year. The trees become their most vibrant with a palette of rich autumn hues that reflect on the honeyed waters and become bleary like vintage oil paintings in the mirrored surface. Campers arrive at their sites before sunset, raising a toast and cheer to the sun before the harvest moon rises. Every dock is personally adorned with jack-o'-lanterns and festive fall decor with the same creative touch as floats one might see in a seasonal parade. The tents allow for privacy, but the outdoor grills and fire pits bring a camaraderie amongst fellow campers, who sometimes sing along or share quips across the water as the night unfolds. The spirit of Sugar Hollow, always interweaving the past and present, shines during this tradition of floating on the water, embraced by the colors of fall beneath a lush sky. The fleeting moments before winter's arrival intensify an appreciation for this time spent outdoors. You find yourself walking through the village a few hours before sundown, balancing a bag on each shoulder as your hand grips your dog's nylon leash. One bag contains your coziest flannel and fleece clothes and toiletries, while the other is stocked with your favorite campsite treats and refreshments. Tangerine sunlight spotlights the charming and unique skyline of centuries-old stone churches and steeples, and a clock tower from the 1800s. The church chimes on the hour with a haunting melody and dulcet tones unique to this time of year. An ivory public library looms atop the highest hill overlooking Lake Surrender, residing in a neo-Roman mansion with tall white pillars, a grand front wraparound porch, and bow windows offering cozy reading nooks. You follow a trail of fellow campers, a diverse group of couples, families, and single campers like you, down the main street that leads to Surrender Lake Park. The storefront windows of small shops and restaurants compete with autumnal decor. Some embrace the spookiness of Halloween. Others showcase farmhouse elegance with autumn wreaths, dried mums in crystal vases wrapped with plum velvet ribbons, and ornate antique brass candelabras with tall, skinny candles. A door opens to a popular cafe, and a wave of warm, dry air escapes, carrying the soothing aromas of dried cinnamon sticks and hot cider, and the happy animated chatter of school kids discussing their day. Amber, margarine yellow, and magenta leaves scatter the cobblestone sidewalk once more, even though shop owners cleared the morning sun-kissed paths as children walked to school. Mild weather has allowed the trees to retain their leaves a bit longer. Without damaging winds, each day the trees offer a few more leaves to the earth's surface, unhurried and prolonging the spectacle throughout the month. Every decade or so, a fierce storm or early snowstorm will wreak havoc and render the trees leafless early on. But this year offers abundant clusters of color that surround the lake, making the perfect backdrop for camping. You make your way to the park, where a gazebo is festively decorated with corn stalks and bales of hay. A white-haired, heavy-set man with a gray beard leads the procession of campers. He wears a decades-old plaid blue flannel jacket and cargo pants and walks ahead with a small speaker in hand that plays an array of American jazz standards depicting fall and all its glory. The softly crackling music is the perfect soundtrack amidst the procession of fellow campers. Your hand tightly grips the dog leash as your pup attempts to charge ahead and lead the pack in enthusiasm. A mulch pathway winds down a small knoll to the recently restored boat dock. The late afternoon sun hangs low in the sky and brings a fiery cast over Lake Surrender, causing the polished wooden boards to glisten like copper pipes. In the shade, the temperature is a crisp 67 degrees, But in the sun, the echoes of summer are felt in the warm, radiant beams. You carefully balance the 2 bags slung over your shoulder as your eager pup trots by your side, with a tail wagging in anticipation for their first floating campsite adventure. The shiny dock creaks beneath your feet as you step onto the reclaimed wooden planks, your eyes drifting to the small silver rowboat tied securely to a post. The lake is calm and reflective and inspires a loud sigh, not just from you, but from fellow campers, including a dramatic 4-year-old boy who holds hands with his mom. The spontaneous chorus of sighs brings an echo of laughter and smiles. Kayaks, canoes, and rowboats dot the water, their paddlers lazily moving toward the floating campsites, the boats cutting soft ripples through the glass-like lake. From above, it's a breathtaking dance of small red, green, and blue vessels gliding toward each dock, the water reflecting swirls of orange, gold, and crimson leaves that line the shore like a fiery crown. The trees around the lake's edge are ablaze with autumn's brilliance, their leaves bursting in copper and ruby hues, contrasting with the fading greens still clinging to summer's last wish. Here and there, the colors deepen, and the trees cast long shadows over the water. Leaves fall like pendulums on the breeze, soundlessly landing on the ripples of Lake Surrender, where they glide across the sunlit surface. Wispy clouds stretch across the cornflower blue sky, as faint as strands of cotton candy. You load your bags into the rowboat, and with your pup settled comfortably by your feet, you push off from the dock, dipping your oars into the lukewarm, crystal clear water. You feel the strength in your core and arms as each gentle splash of each stroke carries you closer to the floating campsite ahead. Some rowboats make their way across the lake with ease, paddled by eager hands, while other campers are escorted by rowboat taxis, guiding visitors across the placid waters to their floating tents. A-frame cabins nestle along the shore, the sparkling sun bouncing off their large windows. Some of the more rustic log cabins have been in the same family for 4 or more generations. A handful of lakeside homes aren't winterized and will soon be shuttered for the season as their occupants return home until spring. Yet the majority of cabins and cottages are inhabited by year-round residents who embrace this transition to quieter days, savoring the peacefulness that settles over the lake after the harvest season ends. You recognize your floating campsite right away, seeing a wooden sign engraved with your name. Your paddling slows, and your pet stands at the helm of the rowboat, fully aware you've arrived at your new home for the night. The safari-style tent looms ahead. You welcome this glamping escape as the canvas doors gently billow in the late afternoon breeze. You dock the boat, assisting your pup out first and then your bags before finding your balance and rising up. You step on the floating wooden deck, feeling warmth radiate from the beams from a day spent soaking in the sun. The fading orange gold light is still so bright, it's hard to believe autumn is here. But with the slightest change in the breeze, you can feel the crisp edge in the air. Once on the dock, you walk past the fire pit and loungers into the open tent. Despite being a temporary escape, it's arranged to feel like a permanent home. Beautiful glass bowls with wavy edges rest on two small rustic tables, filled with homemade potpourri containing cinnamon sticks, pine cones, cedar chips, and dried spiced orange slices. You unload your bags, your pup sniffing excitedly around the edges of the tent, discovering a dog bed and pet bowls in the corner. A luxurious plush spring mattress is at the heart of the space, draped in a patchwork quilt that showcases the colors of fall, deep burgundies, golden yellows, and rich oranges. The locally made quilt reflects the surrounding landscape, with patches featuring patterns of leaves, pumpkins, and cozy nocturnal autumn scenes. A cream-hued mosquito net hangs from the peak of the tent and fans around the bed. Its gossamer folds catch the fading sunlight from outside, creating a whimsical prismatic canopy that gently swathes with the movement of the dock and soft breeze. You gather your supply bag and pet bowls and return outside to the deck, where a charcoal grill is ready to go. You feed your pup first, and then turn your attention to preparing dinner for yourself. The charcoal ignites as the last rays of sunlight linger on the treetops. Hundreds of feet away, you can see others doing the same. Tiny trails of black smoke squiggle from the grills, dotting the lake to infuse the crisp air with their aroma. As the sun recedes beyond the horizon, you hear clapping and cheers reverberating across the lake, celebrating the spectacular display of pinks and oranges in the sky as the day ends and night unfolds. You start a small fire in the built-in hollowed-out fire pit, and light tiny tea candles nestled inside jack-o'-lanterns you've arranged around the deck. Their flickering faces glow in the growing twilight, casting playful shadows across the boards and dancing reflections on the lake. The smells of burnt pumpkin, campfire, and melting candle wax travel on the breeze, blending with the faint traces of autumn, cedar trees, and barbecue. In coves and open areas around the lake, other floating campsites are illuminated by twinkling fairy lights and glass lanterns housing gently flickering candles. The enchanting glow from these floating sanctuaries conjures a sense of hope and connection, a heartwarming display of nature's beauty enhanced by human inventions. The first stars speckle the deep indigo sky, and the harvest moon rises mere moments after the sun slips away. A supermoon, glowing with peachy light, becomes more vibrant the more the sky darkens, fully illuminating the lake with saturated light, nearly as orange as the reflections of firelight. As the last of twilight fades, the lake becomes a canvas of light and shadow, with the glowing campsites and the rising moon casting a serene spell in a singular Sugar Hollow experience. You settle with your finished meal in a cushioned chair and savor each bite. Your pup sits at your feet, basking in the warmth of the fire. The sky becomes a deep navy canvas, freckled with more stars than you have seen in a long time, seeming close enough to touch. The constellations glow brightly in the crisp autumn air, their light reflected in the still waters of Lake Surrender, which serve to catch and replicate the beauty. Along the shoreline, beyond the rocky beaches, and snuggled among the trees, cabin decks are strung with lights. Each one twinkles in the distance like a cluster of fireflies, softly illuminating the autumnal decorations. Wreaths made of dried corn husks, garlands of orange leaves and acorns, and pumpkins and gourds perched on railings. And while the cabins are remarkably cozy, nothing quite replicates the uniqueness of camping in the heart of the lake. The soft sound of water lapping against the wooden planks on all sides mingles with the crackle of the rising campfire flames. Sparks shoot into the sky, and your eyes become glassy, lost in the mesmerizing dance of the flames and rising spirals of wood smoke. The tranquil rocking of the boat, combined with the warmth of the fire and the peaceful stillness of the lake, fills you with a sense of deep calm. The night unfolds with quiet murmurs and songs from neighboring floating campsites and the occasional flash of silver from breaching fish. The harvest moon takes center stage, appearing larger than even the grandest cabins along the lake. It takes on the rich shade of ripe cantaloupe with a pearly aura. The sounds of crickets and frogs replace the voices of campers who retreat to their tents one by one and fall asleep. With fires put out and lights turned off, the stars and moon are the only sources of light. And while you'd love to stay up until dawn, watching the night shift back into morning, a heavy, contented drowsiness takes hold, and the chill in the air has you longing for the comforts of the tent. Your pup stirs as you rise and put out the fire and blow out the candles. You step into the safari-style tent, its canvas doors swaying in the late night breeze. The thick fabric still retains the heat from the afternoon sun, and the breeze has effectively brought the fire's warmth indoors. The canvas walls glow faintly from the supermoon. You step behind a privacy curtain to change into thick flannel pajamas as your pup stands guard. The thick, soft fabric reserves your body's warmth as you inhale the cool night air. You dress your feet in thick, fuzzy socks and return to the bed, pulling back the quilt and top sheet. You leave the doors to the tent open a sliver as they frame the moonlit lake, starry sky, and silhouettes of trees around the shore. Your pet joins you on the bed, forgoing the plush dog bed in the corner, and you snuggle beneath the weighted quilt. The cool night air caresses your face as your body sinks into a mattress as comfortable and supportive as the plush pillow-top spring beds at the Ritz-Carlton. The night offers a perfect balance of rustic and luxurious. The cool, crisp percale sheets take a few moments to warm beneath your body's heat, and you savor this transition as your eyes close and you become aware of how peaceful you feel. The rocking of the dock is subtle yet powerful, helping you welcome a bone-deep sense of surrender, the very surrender for which Lake Surrender is named. Sleep begins to tug at you, gently pulling you toward its restorative realm. The kind of sleep that feels like a long-awaited holiday, one you've yearned for in moments of exhaustion. And now, as the supermoon watches over you, and the rustling autumn trees and night breeze whisper you to sleep, that perfect rest has finally arrived, here for you to fully enjoy. The sound of your sleeping pup is the last you remember before you cross the threshold into a night of needed slumber, finding peace, finding bliss, finding surrender, finding sleep. It's time to dream away.